Welcome to episode 3 of Geeks. I do not know how to start things, but what I do know is how the universe started. And by know, I mean think, just like the rest of the science community. I'm here without my co-host David, because he seems to be having some trouble with the package he's making. He said, got some government involvement. But we'll find out about that later. For now, let's talk about the Big Bang. How did everything begin? While I may not know for sure, we do have a theory.
Our whole universe was in a hot, dense state that nearly 14 billion years ago expansion started. Wait.
Yes, the Big Bang Theory, but not that sitcom.
Bazinga!
The Big Bang Theory is a scientific theory set out to explain the origin of our universe. After Einstein's theory of relativity reshaped our perspective on gravity, and Hubble's observation of galaxies moving away from us, as well as the accidental discovery of the oldest light and radiation in the cosmos, we've been able to piece together a working theory for how the universe began.
Space is big. Like, really big.
Thanks for the insight, Tom. But what if I told you that about 13.8 billion years ago, space was small? Like, really small. Like smaller than the ballpoint of this pen small. Space and time existed at an itty-bitty quantum level, and the mechanics of the universe as we know it, like gravity and electromagnetism, couldn't even exist. Though it's called the Big Bang Theory, it wasn't really the explosion that you expect. It was more like a rapid expansion of the universe. All the way back when the universe was only 0.000000000000000000000000000001 second old. While I would love to put this number into perspective for you to understand, I literally can't. The fastest the human eye can even perceive light is 0.013 seconds long. This is a few more zeros. Anyway, this is where the expansion of the universe began, where it grew to about the size of a grapefruit. All the matter that was infinitely condensed began to grow, stretching everything, everywhere, all at once. Though the universe's expansion allowed it to cool down a bit, it remained unimaginably hot and dense. Some atomic energy particles, called quarks, did appear sporadically, but due to the heat, only lasted moments before returning to a form of pure energy. At this point, all the universe's matter was just that pure energy. Now let's fast forward even further in the universe's timeline, when it was only 0.000000001 second old. We still could not perceive this time. Now the universe has finally expanded to be 1 billion kilometers in all directions. At light speed, it would take about 1 hour to travel from one end of the universe to the other. Yet this expansion happened in fractions of a second, meaning the universe itself expanded faster than the speed of light. Though 1 billion kilometers seems huge, it would still make the universe smaller than our own solar system. Now matter has been able to spread out enough for the current laws of the universe as we know them to exist. Gravitational force was the first to exist, shortly followed by strong nuclear, electromagnetism, and weak nuclear force, which start influencing our universe in the ways we see today.
This cooling also allowed quarks to exist for more than mere moments, and through the new forces in the universe, they were able to become much more, larger particles like protons, neutrons, and electrons.
Yippee! The universe is now 1 second old. Happy birth second, universe, and you did so much in that second, more than I'll do in my life. That's okay.
This expansion caused the universe to cool down even further and allow neutrons and protons to be able to fuse and form the first atoms of hydrogen and helium.
In this stage, the universe is like alphabet soup, with particles being the letters and pure energy being the soup. Also, the soup is 10 billion degrees Celsius, or 18 billion degrees Fahrenheit for you imperial folks. The matter and antimatter created in the Big Bang have been in an ongoing cycle of destruction, constantly combining and destroying each other left and right until 1/1000th of the matter created outlasted the antimatter. And that 1/1000th of matter is what literally everything we know is built out of today. That's crazy! According to the first law of thermodynamics, this matter cannot be destroyed or created. So I hope you like the matter we have, because it's all we're gonna get. 200 seconds later, what was once nothing is now a cosmic sea of clouds of hydrogen and helium spread across billions of kilometers. The inflation period of the universe finally ends, and the universe's expansion continues, but not nearly as fast as it once was. 400,000 years later, these clouds were put under great gravitational pressure, creating the first stars and galaxies which light up the universe for the first time. This light actually exists today, and we can see it and hear it. It's called a cosmic background radiation, which you can hear through empty channels on analog radios. So you've probably heard the Big Bang before. Today we live in the stellar period, where the stars convert the helium and hydrogen into all the elements we know today, including the elements that make us, well, us, the stardust children of the universe. It's time for everyone's favorite portion of the show, and that is, of course, Max Asks and Answers Questions, or as I like to call it, Max. Let's start with the first question. What happened before the Big Bang? Really? I just told you how the universe started, and you asked me, "Oh, Max, what happened before the Big Bang?" Luckily for you, I know exactly what happened. I was there. No, I have no idea. Just like everyone else, I have no idea. But we were all there. It's just a little bit of matter. But we don't know what happened, but there is two big theories going out there of what it could be, and that is that either nothing happened or something happened. Crazy, I know. But talking about that first part with like it possibly could be nothing is if the Big Bang is the beginning of everything, then there wasn't a before the Big Bang. Stephen Hawking compares this to someone traveling all the way to the South Pole. And then they look up and around and they wonder, but what's south of this? Nothing. South is relative to the Earth, and you've reached the southernmost point. There is no more south you could go. But some people think that maybe time doesn't work in that same way, time and space. When they were in that quantum little state that we don't know what happened before the Big Bang started, maybe the universe did have laws we didn't understand, laws we didn't know, where everything was just bunched up in a bunch of
wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey stuff.
Where the universe could have still existed, and maybe there was even something that happened before the universe that our scientific tools just can't record today. But that leads us into our next question. Were there universes before our own? Well, if there was a before the Big Bang, maybe there were. There's a theory called the Big Bounce theory, where our universe is just a universe, a part of this cycle of big bangs and big bounces, where the universe, of course, starts with a big bang, and it stretches out, expands. Where currently the universe is expanding right now, and it's going to expand for billions more years. But imagine billions of years from now, all the matter is stretched out as far as it could across the universe, and the universe is like, oh, we're as big as we could possibly get. All that energy immediately snaps back into that quantum level, just that little tiny space. And that energy from it all being snapped, what would it do? It creates a big bang and starts the expansion again. It expands, snap. Big Bang, and so on and so on. So we could be like the 17th universe. We could be the first universe. We have no idea because we have no way of measuring before the Big Bang, so we have no idea if there was universes before their own. I mean, I watch a lot of superhero movies, a lot of nerd crap. I would love it if the universe was real. Maybe there's a Max out there that actually gets his stuff done on time. That'd be really helpful. But let's move on to how does the universe expand? Well, universal expansion is pretty interesting, and it's actually space itself that's expanding. So literally everything is expanding except for things locked by gravity. We'll talk about that later. But how does this expansion happen? Well, again, we don't know. I'm not very good at the answer questions part of this whole Max segment. More just asking questions. But what a lot of people think is that it's dark matter, this matter that we can't see, because right now the universe is making space for matter that it doesn't have as far as we know. But maybe things that we perceive as like no matter at all, it could just be this dark matter that we don't understand, we can't see, we can't touch. It's an enigma to us. But that's the theory, is that the empty space of matter is actually filled with this dark matter that is constantly pushing at the boundaries of the universe, causing it to expand. But once again, we don't know. I don't know. I put 10 hours of research into this stuff, and there's people that devote their lives to it, and they don't know. So, how am I supposed to know? But what I do know is how interesting the expansion in space is. And that's what I'm going to talk about right now. To you, Max.
Sure, the beginning of the universe is super cool. Well, actually, super hot. But who cares? What's the universe doing right now? Well, it's actually doing a lot of the same thing it was doing at the beginning. Expanding, growing, and sadly, running away from us. Let me explain. The universe is vast and strange, full of over 2 trillion galaxies that make up the observable universe. Even if we were to suddenly figure out how to travel at the speed of light, still 94% of the galaxies we see out there today are completely unreachable, teasing us with their light. Why, Max? Why, you might be asking? Well, it all started with the Big Bang, as most things do. The universe expanded with pockets of dense space, forming groups together that are grouped together due to gravity. These dense pockets of space used to all be so close together, but as the universe grew, so did the space between these dense pockets. As you can see here, I have this fancy little balloon to show an example of space. You can see these little dots as local groups are galaxies, and you can see right now they're all close together within like a foot of each other right now. But if I were to blow this up to expand space to what it is today, you can see that these dense pockets of space actually grew further apart, and the space between them grew further apart as well. The group that we are in is called the local group, which consists of the Milky Way and Andromeda galaxy. And well, that's everything in our group. Everything else in space moves away from us, and the things further away from us move even faster away from us. Some groups are so far away that relative to us, they're actually moving faster than the speed of light. So that's why we can see the light from those groups, but we actually can't reach them. One day, billions of years from now, the light from all groups will no longer reach our local group, and any life in this new Andromeda galaxy will have no knowledge of the ancient universe, including CBR, which allowed us to learn about the Big Bang. This far future may think the local group is the only thing in the universe that stays constant, and they'll have no idea that space even expands. You may think this process is happening slowly, but since starting this episode of Geeks, over 22 million stars have reached this border and are lost to us forever. I know, a little bit depressing. Every second we lose the opportunity to travel to groups outside our local area. But if it makes you feel any better, even traveling the speed of light, it would take 11 million years to reach the closest group outside of our area. So it seems we will have to deal with just the 0.00000000001% of the observable universe that we can actually explore. But for now, appreciate the fact you live in a place and time where you get to see the beautiful night sky we have, because it won't always be there. Now that we've talked about space itself, what lies in the stars? Is there life? Is there David? You'll find out after the break.
Living with someone you don't know on the other side of the wall is hard, especially if you don't know how to be a good roommate.
The first thing that you'll want to do to be a good roommate is make sure that you always stay quiet. Be considerate of others when using common spaces and appliances.
Hey buddy, what you doing?
I'm just gonna need like 40 minutes. Be respectful of your roommate's privacy.
Ugh, my bad.
Finally, make sure that you clean up after yourself. Oh, fresh toothbrush.
Have you seen my toothbrush?
Follow these tips to get along with your roommates and your landlord.
Dude, I love Halloween candy here. It's like 50% off right now.
Dude, everything's half off right now, even the costumes. You wanna go try some on? Let's go buy one.
Yeah. Walking around Party City, putting on costumes, looking very pretty. Going to make a video about being astronauts. It'll make sense in a second. We're getting to space, I promise. 1 second. It's coming. Here it is. Yay!
You know, I always wanted to be an astronaut.
The next morning.
Are you really gonna wear that thing forever?
I said I was always gonna be an astronaut, no?
You're never gonna be an astronaut.
What did you just say to me?
You will never be an astronaut.
Hello there. My friend Keelan thinks I can't be an astronaut, and it's my job to prove her wrong. So I'm gonna simulate 3 basic astronaut trainings and see how well I fare. Training number 1. Astronauts will go up to 40 feet underwater to simulate 0 gravity. I do not have 40 feet of water. What I do have is a 3.5-foot hot tub. Let's go be astronauts.
Typically, astronauts will spend up to 6 hours underwater during training, so I tried to see how long I could hold my breath in one go. I did not last very long. Then, to simulate the 0 gravity conditions in space, I tried floating around the pool for a little while, but I kept getting salt in my mouth. So I switched over to my own personal moonwalk.
Hey, what are you doing? Training to be an astronaut.
Hot tub training complete. Yo.
Astronauts don't only have to prepare for 0 gravity, they also have to be ready with astrophysics math stuff. So, I went on to BBC to take a quiz to find out if I had the mind of an astronaut inside my heart.
You need an excellent knowledge of space, physics, and mathematics to make it as an astronaut. With that in mind, if a light year is the distance that light travels in a vacuum, what distance is a single light year?
So light years do measure distances, not a trick, so I can eliminate D. I took a astronomy class last year. I did not do well. I think it's A. I have a gut instinct. I'm not saying that for sure. I have a gut instinct it's A. I'm gonna go with A here. I'm gonna go with A.
Physical fitness is also essential to the successful astronaut. Which one of these activities sounds the most effective to you?
I spaced out. Can you ask the question again?
Incorrect.
I hate myself. Anyway, moving forward.
Astronauts are required to have an excellent grasp of spatial visualization. So try this quandary. You are required to organize a fun activity for your work colleagues. What kind of experience do you choose?
Okay, this is an easy one. It's mini golf, and I can explain why, because this is just social dynamics. Escape room? Well, okay, here's the thing. It's probably going to say escape room. I am not going to go escape room because I feel like escape room causes too many arguments.
If leaf is analogous, comparable, or similar to in some way to tree, then what is analogous to the word blade?
Lawn.
Yes, a leaf is a part of a tree, so in the instance of a blade of grass is a part of a lawn. Alright.
1 for 7, baby.
It's New Year's resolution time, and you decide to pick up a new skill. But which of these activities do you choose? Learning Russian? Mexican cookery course? Ballroom dancing? Knitting and needlework?
What does this have to do with being an astronaut?
Just answer the
This
question.
test is bogus. I'm walking out. This test is bogus. I'm done.
Hello there. Hypothetically, if an astronaut wanted to fly to the moon, it would take him about 3 days. On this spaceship, it would be pretty lonely, isolated, and when you look out the windows, you really wouldn't have much to see. In order to simulate this experience and get my next step in astronaut training, I've decided to go into the space simulator that I have located in my bedroom, aka my closet. And I'm going to be sitting here alone, with no music, no phone, no nothing, for a total of 30 minutes, in order to simulate what it's like to be in space. Let's begin. Why have we all agreed that the toe is like the universal, the big toe specifically? Why have we all agreed that the big toe is the universal like thumb of the foot? If anything, like I get the pinky is smaller and that it's on the end, right? But what structurally is similar about a thumb and a big toe? Oh no, I get it. I get it. Never mind. Larry, I was on DuckTales. It has been 7 minutes.
It's so dumb.
It's so dumb, it's brilliant.
No! It's just dumb.
Lightyear wasn't a good movie. I don't know if we're ready to say that yet. I know people are like sentimental about Toy Story or whatever. They're coming out with a 5th one now. I hate it. Lightyear was not a good movie. Like Socks. Socks was a solid side character. However, I'm so like accustomed to seeing a Disney side character that I almost feel desensitized to it now at this point. Yeah, I don't know. I did not love Lightyear. And I'm sorry if you get offended by that. It was not a good movie. Oh well. Oh well. But he thinks he'd blow our minds. There's a star man. 5 minutes remaining. Yeah.
Blast off.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
What'd I tell you? What did I tell you?
I am an astronaut.
Hear me, astronaut.
That was the astronaut training. That was 30 minutes in isolation. That's easy. Now, I know it's not 3 months, but I could do that. I could just talk to myself the entire time and I'd be fine. We're going to space, baby!
The next morning.
David, what are you doing? Gotta go find them.
David, what are you doing?
I told you I was gonna be an astronaut.
What? You can't ride in that?
Don't insult my creation. I made this with fine cardboard this morning. This baby right here, it's ready to fly, and I know, because I got the astronaut spirit in my heart. I proved it.
David, what are you talking about?
Only a true astronaut would understand. It's my time to fly.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
Huh. He did it. He can be an astronaut.
Ellie!
Tell me what you know about space.
Your mom.
Okay, so space.
There's 7
Into the camera. The microphone is not here. Look at the camera.
Space is a wonderful place where I can get rid of this child. Shut
No,
up, child.
there's 7 planets.
Candy, if you behave.
There's 7 planets in our solar system, but who knows what's gonna be out there in this universe? We don't even know.
Aliens exist. You're paranoid.
So basically, what a black hole does to you is spaghettifies you, since the mass at the bottom of your feet is higher than the top, so it stretches you. Now, it doesn't stretch you like here. It stretches you literally over time itself. It spaghettifies you, as you would say.
I don't know if this is real, but I have a theory. The Bermuda Triangle is connected to a black hole that goes into a different universe. So, when people get sucked into the black hole, or when people get sucked into the Bermuda Triangle, they go through the black hole, and then they end up in a new universe in a different life.
Stars are made out of dust in space. Like, you know the Crab Nebula?
Aliens are real. You like it or not? Feel it, evil.
Are stars actually made out of fire?
No.
Well, they kind of have fire.
Okay, everybody.
It's actually gas. How does the space get their color?
It's called Point Nemo. You're closer to astronauts there than you are other people.
So it's so cold that it turns into...
1 sec. Lucas Berry Bridger? Zoom quicker! Zoom quicker! No! You ready?
3, 2, 1.
Aliens, aliens, aliens. We all ask ourselves, are they real? Would they be here? And could there possibly be an imposter among us? For myself personally, when it comes to aliens, there are too many questions and not enough answers. So I, being a person that answers questions, went on the internet to try to find out, are aliens real? The first thing that I did was I logged on to Merriam-Webster.com and found out the definition of an alien is someone who is not from Earth. Seems pretty straightforward, but just in case we need further explanation, an axolotl, which is a Earth creature, would not be considered an alien. Where on the other hand, Marvin the Martian from Looney Tunes would be considered an alien because he is from Mars. And that is how aliens work. So, then I furthered my research and I uncovered Jamie Mawson, who uncovered aliens. Or so he says. Jamie Mawson presented aliens to Mexico's Congress, right? And he pops out and he's like, these are from diatom mines. Humans cannot go in diatom mines, or humans cannot be preserved in diatom mines this long. They will not live. So people got excited. But then the scientists came in, and as all scientists do, they ruined all things fun. And they said, no, these are very clearly mummies that came from a cavern, and no. I decided that I had to dig deeper, but sadly, my digging deeper didn't lead us to any great conclusions. Turns out that Jamie Mawson is actually responsible for 48, yes, 48 different alien hoaxes throughout his career.
That just makes no sense. I mean, it's just bullshit. Oh, my.
The second thing my research led me to was the Roswell incident in 1947. Here, there was this ranch farmer, and some space stuff popped out on his yard. And he was like, oh no, it's space stuff. So he calls up the government, hotline bling, and the government's like, okay, we'll check it out, thinking it's Cap. But Roswell's got some weird alien activity, maybe. Why not? A day goes by, the government's like, oh, this is a UFO. So the press releases a report about it. Everyone's going nuts. They're like, wow, aliens are actually real. Then, with no explanation at first, the government takes this back. About a month later, they reveal it was actually just a weather balloon, no big deal, it was just the Air Force testing something. Seems like a cover-up. You may be asking yourself, David, what happened? Why did the camera quality get so shitty all of a sudden? Well, that's because the government is onto us, and I am about to expose some of their secrets.
Yes. So we have this whole incident in Roswell, New Mexico, right? The public does not shut up because obviously possible aliens, very exciting, very swagadelic. So, the government gets annoyed by this. The year 1994 comes around, a long, long time after the Roswell incident, and they're like, guess what? We have 200 plus pages on why the Roswell incident was actually us and not aliens. They make 2 errors here, though. 2. And that's more than one. Error number 1. They have this cool slideshow demonstrating the Roswell report. However, all of the footage they use backing their claims that it was a weather balloon in 1947 are clips taken 5 to 10 years after the fact on average, so no one really credibly takes the footage. Then, error number 2, they just had poor word choice from the guy giving the speech.
Bodies observed in the New Mexico desert were probably test dummies that were carried aloft by U.S. Air Force high-altitude balloons for scientific research. Probably.
Are you stupid?
So, you may be asking yourself, bodies, David, weather balloon, question mark, all really valid points. So, in the 1947 incident that happened in Roswell, apparently some people saw bodies, and some people saw these bodies being carried away from the UFO. The Air Force's response to these claims is that they were test dummies used on the weather balloon. However, why would a weather balloon need test dummies? Questions I and many people have been asking themselves since the Roswell report was released in 1994.
Probably.
There are some skeptics in the Roswell area, and there is a possibility aliens may have been there. However, there's nothing for sure. I needed further evidence to prove that aliens were real. The next place I looked, David Grushek. Why do I say this? Well, let's take a look at David Grushek's player profile pictured here. He was an officer in charge at Space Control Intelligence Cell, alongside being a corporate security officer at Blue Sky Innovations, which provides expert analysis to the national security of space. What? What's going on? What? No! No! Okay, are we back? Are we back? Oh, thank goodness we're back. Did they take out my cameras? Alright, so very clearly, the government is trying to take out my cameras. I have no facts to back this evidence. However, it seems fairly obvious. Anyway, that won't stop me, and that won't stop David Grushek. You know why? Because this man mainly speaks for himself.
Okay. You've stated that the government is in possession of potentially non-human spacecraft. Based on your experience and extensive conversations with experts, do you believe our government has made contact with intelligent extraterrestrials?
Something I can't discuss in public setting. Biologics came with some of these recoveries, yeah.
Were they, I guess, human or non-human biologics?
Non-human, and that was the assessment of people with direct knowledge on the program I talked to that are currently still on the program.
I thought for sure I finally had confirmations that there were aliens which made contact with Earth. However, after one brief search, I sadly found out that David Grushek's credibility was actually in question. On October 1st, 2018, Grushek's wife contacted the sheriff's office to report that Grushek was drunk and suicidal. Here, she also reports that she had just been waiting for Grushek to kill her and that he was an alcoholic and needed to get help. This, alongside a similar incident which occurred in 2014 where Grushek threatened suicide, are a real big blow to his overall credibility. David Grushek's mental health being in question makes me question his overall credibility, and sadly leads me to the conclusion that I still don't know if aliens have made contact with Earth. Damn, I was really hoping I was going to find aliens by the end of that video. Oh well. Oh, who was that?
Are you David Carlson?
Hello.
You're coming with us.
Welcome to Rocket Shopping
with Max and David.
Flammable liquid. We have our rocket. Now, I just look for other things. Because I think that's all I really had planned. Oops, sorry. We got our Dr. Peppers. I have a plan, actually. I may have made it look like I didn't have a plan. I got a plan. That's $20 of basically rocket powder.
There's a better sources of gunpowder out there. It's my only one.
Alright, I'm gonna go investigate them. I might go with the grape oil. Can't build rockets on an empty stomach.
Welcome to Rocket Building with Max and David.
This is gonna be empty. I'm gonna fill it with a bunch of alcohol, which is, you know, flammable and explodey. And then I'm gonna pour the alcohol out, it has residue of alcohol in there, and then I'm gonna put the cap on, put a hole in the cap, and then light it. And I will put this on for aerodynamics.
I like it. In total, I wound up only buying $20 worth of exploding coal, which is just gunpowder inside of little wrappers. Like you use snappers in the 4th of July, same thing. So I bought $20 worth of those. Gunpowder I know explodes, so I have a little hamburger seasoning cover that I knew I was gonna throw out today anyway. Just gonna fill it up with gunpowder and see what happens. I am not exactly sure how I'm gonna light it yet, but I do know with the hamburger seasoning I have these holes, and I feel like it can go out of the holes, it'll propel forward and like, I can get some distance upward.
I don't need that little part.
I accidentally set off some gunpowder.
Let's go test our rockets.
That's just a taste. Just a taste.
I don't think it works like gas.
Alright. Just want to throw it?
Yep.